it works inside of your body. You're gonna learn when autophagy starts during a fast, how to measure autophagy, why we don't want too much autophagy, and all about this amazing process within the body. My name is Ben Azadi. I am the best-selling author of 3 books, founder of Keto Camp. Here at Keto Camp, we're on a mission to educate and to inspire 1 billion people on planet Earth. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. Let me know in the chat box down below where you're watching from. I see Beth, who always joins, Diane, Fosette, Sapor. Good to see you all. Let's break down what exactly autophagy is. The Greek definition for autophagy is eat thyself. I know that sounds kind of disgusting, but it's actually a very magnificent process that goes on in the body, and we'll talk about when it's activated. But I want to give you an analogy here, a couple of analogies for you to really understand what autophagy is. I want you to envision right now the refrigerator that you have inside of your kitchen. You're opening up that refrigerator and you see all these groceries inside of it, right? Every grocery has an expiration date on it. What would happen if you let all the groceries inside of your refrigerator expire, but you don't throw them out? You just push them towards the back of the fridge, kind of put them in the drawers underneath or inside the fridge. Then you go buy fresh groceries, take them back home, open up that fridge, put the fresh groceries in front of the old expired groceries and close that door. It's going to be disgusting. Mold, bacteria, disease will manifest in that refrigerator. Well, guess what? Your body has cells, proteins, mitochondria, fat within it that have expiration dates on them, and they require recycling and regenerating. And that's exactly what autophagy does. Autophagy is that process of throwing out the junk. Your body is so stinking smart. You are a masterpiece because you are a piece of the master. And within your body, you have something called the innate intelligence. You know, there's no pill, no surgery, no supplement that could replace this innate intelligence. This innate intelligence is activated with autophagy. When you're not eating food, like during a fast, intermittent fasting, guess what happens? Your body's not getting food energy, so it will need to get energy from somewhere. So it activates this autophagy process, and it looks for these damaged cells, expired cells. They're also called senescent zombie cells that have been causing inflammation in your body, and your body uses that for fuel first, which is an incredible thing. Think about that. Your body is so smart that it goes for the bad stuff first. Think of Pac-Man going within your cells, cleaning out the mitochondria, intracellular Pac-Man. And here's what the body does. If it has determined that a cell cannot be repaired, that the mitochondria is just destroyed, this cell has no function, it is what it's called a senescent cell, then the body signals something called apoptosis, which is programmed cell death, aka cell suicide. So the body will just get rid of that cell altogether and then produce a stem cell. That's right, you don't have to pay thousands of dollars for stem cells, your body does it naturally through autophagy and apoptosis. And all of this is happening without you even thinking about it, without you having to do anything but not eat food. So the another analogy I'm going to give you is, think about a ship that is going through the Atlantic Ocean. Picture a cargo ship that is going through the ocean, and all of a sudden it's encountering a storm and it's taking on all this water, right? So I'm going to compare that storm and that stress to a fast. It is a stress to the body, but a good stress. So now the ship is taking on all this water, and the captain of the ship, what is he going to do? He's going to order all crew members to go and look for cargo on this ship, cargo that has been damaged, cargo that is not important, dump it off the ship so we could get through the storm. That's what your body is doing during a fast. Out of the 70 trillion cells in your body, 70 billion of them are required to be recycled and regenerated every single day. And that's what's happening. So the question is, when does autophagy start during a fast? There's not concrete science around when autophagy begins, but here's my hypothesis. I would guess that autophagy begins around the 16-hour mark of a fast. The reason I say that is because it takes about 14 to 18 hours just to process a food. Isn't that crazy? There was a study done at the University of Virginia, And Dr. Zach Bush talked about this on my Keto Camp podcast interview with him. This study was conducted on college students. And what they did, they wanted to take these college students and see, okay, let's track how long it will take for these 800 calories of a standard American diet, which in this case was pizza from Mellow Mushroom Pizza in Virginia. And they wanted to track how long it took to digest these food calories inside the body of these college students. Guess how long it took for it to enter the small intestine? Not even fully digested. It took 14 hours. The thing that even blows my mind even more is that they were college students. They were younger. And the younger you are, the faster your digestive system is in general. So the older you are, the slower that is. So it takes about 14 to 18 hours to process food. Once your body gets rid of that, you start entering the state of autophagy, where your body doesn't have food energy that's being digested, so it goes for that junk inside the body. I would also venture to guess that you could achieve autophagy much faster if you enter a fast in a ketosis state, in a ketogenic state, because you would have low glycogen stores and you would deplete that faster during the fast. That's why I love pairing keto and fasting. And hey, I have a whole bunch of videos and I have a 10-part series on how to do keto, but this video is more about fasting. Now, the next question is, how do you measure autophagy? Okay, there's a few ways that I use and I teach the members of my Keto Camp Academy. You could measure your blood glucose and your blood ketones. I use a machine called Keto Mojo, and you just finger prick and it gives you a glucose and your ketones. In general, if you see your glucose dropping during a fast and your ketones rising, you are entering or you are in a state of autophagy. That's not 100% accurate, but you have a good idea that you're getting autophagy. There is a great researcher out there, his name is Dr. Thomas Seyfried, who wrote the book Cancer as a Metabolic Disease. And his work is incredible. He's actually seen a lot of tumors shrink before his eyes through autophagy. And here's a quote from Dr. Thomas Seyfried. If you were to complete a 7-day water-only fast once per year, you would reduce your chances of any cancer by 95%. Are you kidding me? Think about that. That's because they're getting something called maximum autophagy. And when you do a block fast, 3 or more days, you are likely to achieve this maximum autophagy. So here's how you calculate that. I hope you're taking notes here. This is where you want to really write down these numbers. In order to see if you're achieving maximum autophagy, you want to get your blood glucose and you want to see what that is. So let's say it is, and I need your help here for those of you who are on the live stream to get your calculator out and help me out here. Let's take the number 72. Let's say your fasting glucose is 72, which is pretty good. And let's divide that by 18. So if somebody watching right now here on Instagram or on YouTube could divide 72 by 18, what is that number? We're gonna get that number and then we're gonna compare that to your blood ketones. And if you have a 1-to-1 ratio of blood glucose to blood ketones, you're in this maximum autophagy state where Dr. Thomas Seyfried has actually seen tumors shrink before his eyes. So that is 4. Thank you, Zach, for letting me know. So let's say your 72 divided by 18 is 4. If your ketones are 4 or higher, you're in this maximum autophagy state where your body is just crushing damaged cells, you're crushing fat cells, you're inducing autophagy when you have this maximum autophagy ratio. When I did a 5-day water fast a couple years ago, my glucose dropped around 52, but my ketones were above 5.0, so I was well within this maximum autophagy range. Thank you, Alina. Alina helped me out with that as well. The next thing we want to talk about is more autophagy better, right? Autophagy is a great process. I just taught you that, but is more autophagy better? Before I get to that, I want to acknowledge you for being on this video. Thank you so much. Please hit the thumbs up button on YouTube, tag somebody on Facebook. I'm gonna be giving you a free gift at the end of this live stream, and I'm also gonna be doing some Q&A, so stick around for that. I have a free gift. You're gonna be blown away by the free gift I'm gonna give you. So let's talk a little bit about these 2 pathways in the body. This is such a cool thing. The body has either two directions that it's being pushed. Either we're going through a pathway called mTOR. mTOR stands for mechanistic target of rapamycin. That signifies growth. It's the growth pathway. It is anabolic. Think of mTOR as bodybuilders. They're in a constant mTOR state. They're constantly duplicating cells. They're building. They're anabolic. mTOR is super healing when it comes in spurts, but when mTOR is spiked all the time, that can lead to cancer growth and aging much, much faster. That's why I always say if you want to age faster than anybody you know, eat every 2 to 3 hours. You'll develop more disease and you'll age much faster than anybody in your neighborhood. The opposite of mTOR is a process called autophagy. We just explained that process. It is more catabolic. It is repairing. Now, you might be thinking, wouldn't we want to get autophagy all the time? The more autophagy, the better. The answer is no, because once your body is done eating the bad stuff, cleaning up the bad junk, it's going to need to get energy from somewhere, and the innate intelligence will look for the good stuff. It could weaken your immune system. You could lose some extra muscle. Not good. So there is a delicate dance here between mTOR and autophagy. I'm writing a book called Keto Flex, and I teach you how to do all this, and I have a whole bunch of videos on my YouTube channel all about keto flexing. But keto flexing is all about that balance between mTOR, anabolic growth, and autophagy, repairing and breaking down. So once you understand this and you start implementing spurts of mTOR, spurts of autophagy with intermittent fasting, your body will crush fat cells for sure. You'll lose body fat, absolutely, but that is a side effect of getting healthy. Your body's gonna reduce inflammation. It could turn off autoimmune genes, so it could help reverse diseases like autoimmune. So I'll give you a couple of my favorite ways to get autophagy on a daily basis and not get too much of it to have a good balance. I like an 18-6 schedule on a daily basis, meaning 18 hours out of a 24-hour period, you're fasting. You're just having water and sea salt, right? You're getting that autophagy. You're crushing fat cells. And then you have a 6-hour eating window where you have plenty of healthy protein, keto-friendly meals to get more of the mTOR. And then I like throwing in a 24-hour fast once or twice per week to get even more autophagy. And if you want to go for a block fast, 3 or more days, I like that once per quarter. Just take caution with the block fast. You got to know what you're doing. Work with somebody. It's a powerful tool, but you got to know how to use that tool. There's other ways to get autophagy, by the way. Exercise is a fantastic way to induce autophagy. When you exercise, your body is going to crush bad cells. It's going to activate AMPK, and then autophagy, and also apoptosis. So when you're sore from a workout, like I'm sore right now, I had a good workout yesterday, that's autophagy. So, oh yeah, autophagy, I feel that. So if you want to get the double bang for your buck when it comes to autophagy, exercise in the fasted state. Going into a workout on an empty stomach, you'll get more autophagy. There are also specific ingredients that you could consume and activate autophagy. Turmeric is one of them. There are some mushrooms like reishi mushroom, green tea extract can do it, and there's other compounds. I have some videos that I put together on ways to achieve autophagy without fasting, and on my YouTube channel here, you can see in the video notes, I put 3 videos there for you to check out. There are other ways to get autophagy. So that is, I hope that makes a lot of sense. I want to know what your biggest takeaway was, and I want to also answer your questions. So before I do, I promised you a free gift. I have put together, along with Dr. Pampa, Dr. Mindy Peltz, Dr. Caitlin, and a whole bunch of the doctors and health coaches that I work with on my team, we put together what's called a Thanksgiving feasting recipe book, where you could see, I think there's 20 plus recipes in there on healthy feast recipes. So for Thanksgiving, you can use it for your holiday dinners, and I want to give it to you for free. I have a recipe I put in there myself. If you want this free download of this recipe book, I sent it to my email list, but I wanted to give it to you as well. Then I want you to comment in the, not in the live chat box, but in the actual comment of the video. So not in the live chat box, but in the comment of this video. I want you to write recipe book. So for anybody who writes recipe book, I'm going to give you the link to download this today, and you can see all these healthy feasting recipes. So in the comment section of this video, not in the live chat section, type in recipe book and I will get that to you. The next thing I want to let you know is that I'm doing a webinar, a masterclass to dive even deeper into fasting, into keto, and it's called the Art of Fasting webinar. It's going to take place in December, perfect to help you understand this before the year comes up in 2021. If you head to benazadiwebinar.com, you could get your spot secured for this upcoming webinar. We are capping this out 1,000 people. So the first 1,000 people who sign up will get in. You'll get some free gifts for joining, and we'll have a great time. It'll be a 60-minute masterclass, even deeper into fasting and autophagy. I'm going to teach you beginner strategies, advanced strategies. If you're watching here on Instagram and you want that recipe book, you're going to have to DM me, and I'll give you that link to download it. Just DM me, and I'll give you the recipe guide. Andrea, good to see you. So let's open it up to Q&A here. I want to make sure I answer as many questions as possible. So Emma says, some say women should not do intermittent fasting as much every day. What is your take? Yeah, great question, Emma. Intermittent fasting should be done differently for women versus men. For example, if you are a cycling woman, if you have a monthly period, I do recommend the 5 to 7 days before your monthly cycle to not practice much fasting, get out of ketosis, do more paleo, healthy carbs, because the 5 to 7 days leading up to the monthly cycle is when progesterone and estrogen begin to dip low. And if it remains low, it could result in heavy periods and just not feeling as good. You're gonna have food cravings, but carbohydrates, healthy carbs, and insulin help make these hormonal conversions so you can have a healthy monthly cycle and feel much better. That's why a lot of females, they experience cravings the week leading up to their period. It's their innate intelligence teaching them or showing them, hey, we want some carbs, we want some insulin, we want to get that insulin spike to make these hormonal conversions. So that's one example right there. I have seen men do better with more fast than women, but women could definitely practice fasting. I did a great interview with Cynthia Thurlow all about fasting for women. You could find that on my Keto Camp podcast and here on the Keto Camp YouTube channel as well. Let's see. Can you build muscle on an alternate day fasting schedule, says JG? Absolutely, because when you practice fasting, your body is going to raise human growth hormone, which is muscle building, muscle preserving, and fat burning. So as long as on the days that you are eating, you're feasting, you're having plenty of protein, and you're making sure your digestive system is breaking down those nutrients, you'll build muscle. And then also make sure you're getting quality sleep. That's also important for building muscle. So absolutely, it can be done. Joseph Shawa says, does high fasting blood sugar on a ketogenic diet have the same negative effect on mTOR? Yeah, it's a good question, Joseph. So anytime you see your glucose go up, if your glucose is high or going up, it's negating the autophagy, right? So you do want your fasting glucose to be in that optimal range to get more of the autophagy. The optimal range of your glucose in the fasted state is between about 70 to 90. Unless you're doing more of a block fast, you'll see your glucose drop even lower, but 70 to 90 would be a good range to hit for blood glucose in the fasted state, and know that if you're hitting that range, you're getting autophagy. Chances are you're getting autophagy. Jessica Jackson, what about a 48-hour fast once a week along with OMAD feast days on eating days? Yeah, that's a great option, especially if you have extra body fat you want to lose. The only thing is that you want to make sure when you're eating, you're feasting, and when you're not eating, you're fasting. So make sure you follow that cycle, because all 70 trillion cells in the human body, they're hardwired for feast, famine cycles. My mentor, Dr. Daniel Pompa, talks about this all the time. He talked about it in his book, Beyond Fasting. If we follow the way that our ancestors lived, these feast, famine cycles, we're gonna burn fat, we're gonna reduce inflammation, we're gonna live way past 100 years old, disease-free. So these are awesome questions. What's the best sweeteners to use in green tea, says Johnny English? I like stevia, pure stevia, and monk fruit. Those are good sugar replacements right there. I don't like sucralose and aspartame. Those are not my favorite sweeteners. So those are my favorite ones on there. Hey, hit the thumbs up button here on YouTube. Can too much fasting cause hair loss? Yes, it can, Jessica. The thyroid has two hormones. Well, you have the T4 hormone, which is the inactive form of thyroid. And then you have the T3 hormone, which is the active version of thyroid. T4 needs to be converted to T3 so you can burn fat, you can feel good. But when you fast too much, if you get too much autophagy, this conversion starts to dysfunction, and it could result in hair loss. So, and also keep in mind, fasting is a stressor, And if you do a lot of fasting and you already have a lot of stress in your life, your body will lose hair because it will not care about losing hair. It will care about prioritizing other things. So yes, there is a delicate balance here that we want to achieve between mTOR and autophagy. You're welcome. You're welcome. Hey, Milena, good to see you. I love to see some Keto Camp Academy members on here. If you're a woman on perimenopause or menopause, you mentioned doing more flex days. How often do you do a flex days? And if it's done days in a row? Yeah, so it'll depend on how much extra body fat you have. I'm gonna give you the 5-1-1 rule for you, for anybody who is a female, postmenopausal or menopausal, perimenopausal, excuse me. The 5-1-1 rule is as such: 5 days out of the week, you're doing an 18-6 daily intermittent fasting schedule. 18 hours fasting, and then 6 hours eating. So 6-hour eating window with 2 meals. Ideally, you want those to be keto-friendly meals. And then you have the other day, which is a 24-hour water fast to get more of the autophagy. And that final day is your keto flex day, your keto feast day, where you do high healthy carbs, more protein, no fasting. So I like that 5-1-1 rule for you, Milena. That's a great long-term approach. Dermot says, would you recommend the carnivore diet? Absolutely. I have a 40-day, I did it for 40 days over the summer, and I documented my entire experience, and I did a video on it. I went over all my lab work, day 1 versus day 40. It helped shut down my autoimmune gene, so I do love it for a short-term tool. I have an entire 30-day pillar in my Keto Camp Academy on how to do carnivore the right way. If you didn't see my YouTube video on my carnivore experience, 40 days, go watch it. It's there on my YouTube channel. Manuka honey, that could be good for your flex days, your higher carb days, but it's not keto friendly. But I do like it for a flex day for sure. Keep sending your questions, and hey, give me the thumbs up button if you're getting any value here on YouTube or Facebook. It really helps the Facebook algorithms do it. Okay, Daniel, you got it. Yvonne, good to see you. I'll make sure I give you the links when I'm done here. Can one be sure that ketone triggers autophagy? Well, like I said, there's no certain way to know, Daniel, but if you are hitting the optimal fasting glucose range, which is 70 to 90, and your ketones are above 0.5, 0.8, I would venture to guess you're getting autophagy. Yes, I would say that's a good guess. You're welcome, Michael. Dermot, you're welcome. Yeah, postmenopausal women could do the 5-1-1 rule as well. Emma, I like that. 1 day per week doing a keto flex day is a great strategy. Yeah, Shelly, I agree with you. Fasting is not starvation. If anybody gives you crap saying, hey, you're fasting, you're starving yourself, what are you doing? Ask them if they know anything about counter-regulatory hormones. And what they're gonna say is, what's that? There's a big difference between cutting calories and eating small, frequent meals throughout the day and cutting calories with fasting, because when you fast, your body's going to raise counter-regulatory hormones, and it's going to prevent the metabolism from shutting down. There was a study that showed after 4 days of consecutive water fasting, the metabolism was more efficient by 13%. So yeah, those people who tell you fasting is crazy, you know what's going to happen is that they're the same people who go outside and they go yell at birds and teach birds they lecture birds on how to fly. It doesn't work. William Plank, does autophagy reduce LPA? Well, LPA could be an inflammatory marker, and autophagy helps reduce inflammation. So yes, it can, absolutely, if you do it the right way and you follow the right balance between mTOR and autophagy. Jessica, you're welcome. I'm grateful for you, absolutely. Cynthia, I'm a 67-year-old female at healthy weight. How should my weekly fasting schedule look like? Would like to take advantage of the autophagy. Yeah, I like the 5-1-1 rule. I think that's a great approach for somebody who's 67 who wants to maintain their weight. So if you missed the 5-1-1 rule, I just explained it a few minutes ago. I would watch that over again. 5-1-1 rule is terrific for you. How about artificially lowering your blood glucose within insulin? I don't know what that means, King Country. Could you rephrase that question? Again, if you want that free recipe guide, either on Facebook comment section, put recipe guide. On YouTube, if you're watching and you want that free feasting recipe guide, in the comment section, not in the live chat, but in the comment section of the video, put recipe guide or recipe book, and we'll give you a link when we're done here. We'll make sure everybody gets that. Well, I answered that, Alina. I answered that. As long as Joseph is hitting the optimal fasting ranges of 70 to 90 and hitting ketones, they're in mTOR. But if they have high glucose, if their glucose is high, it will negate the autophagy. It'll have an mTOR effect. Yes, it'll have an mTOR effect. All right, so if you want to get signed up for my webinar, The Art of Fasting is taking place December. That's next month. Go to benazatiwebinar.com. I like fasting on, fasting off, so alternate day fasting should induce autophagy, absolutely. I want to thank you all so much for joining me today. If you're watching a replay, thank you as well. So if you're in America, have an amazing Thanksgiving. I am grateful for you, Keto Campers. I'm grateful we were able to go over 114,000 or 113,000 subscribers here on YouTube, Top 15 Podcast. I'm dedicated to getting this information out there, and I just want to say how grateful I am that you enjoy this information. Please share this video with a friend, text it to somebody, message it to somebody, share it on your Facebook, share it on your Twitter. The more you share it, the more it tells the algorithms that this should be shown to more people. And I believe this information is the information that's going to save our planet. It's going to save these disgusting trends when it comes to cancer and obesity and diabetes. So please share it. Have an amazing Thanksgiving. If I missed your question, post it in the comment of the video, not in the live chat, and I'll go back later and I'll answer it for you. Have an amazing Thanksgiving. Have an amazing day. Love you all, Keto Campers. And Alina, thanks for your help in the chat box. I appreciate you. Talk to you all soon. See you next Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time.